Your renewal as a being is quite different. Like what this scripture says about the people of the world. Their ears just can't grasp it. It's the same way of looking at it. He won't attain enlightenment. He listens, but he still doesn't understand. Invite him for a meal, and as soon as he eats, he suddenly gets it, just like that. So he takes a small example as a Buddhist matter. Why are hills sharp? So what about all creatures? Which one is not necessarily beneficial? If the Buddha were to talk about the Earth Store Sutra in the world, then this next part would definitely present various subtle and contrasting points, right? In this situation, there won't be all sorts of subtle sounds. It's specifically speaking to our world, you. No? This is the part we need to understand. Buddha, when he teaches, it must align with the principles. So remember, the earlier part shines a light on those principles. This part here is about the right timing. When teaching, it must align with the principles. Remember that. The earlier part shines a light on the principles. This part here is about the right timing. It's all worth our while. Put your heart into learning. Zhu Huang Guang, we also need to shine our light. We can't shine our light as obviously as the Buddha. So what's the method? It's having true compassion in your heart. Naturally, that compassion shines through, and when people see you, they think, wow, this person is really compassionate. A heart that's pure and clean, this person is really pure. Beautiful scenery. What the scriptures say is that if you truly have it in your heart, naturally the light shines from your mind and from your body. Constantly shining light and also releasing fragrance. The fragrance and light are magnificent. The first group of familiar faces, their smell is really unpleasant, isn't it? A cultivator with a pure and bright heart has a fragrant aura about them. We don't see that very often. In the past, I heard my classmates in Hong Kong talking to me. I heard that Master Zuyun only bathed once a year. Shave his head once. Master Zuyun only bathed once a year. The clothes they wear, they've only got that one outfit for all seasons. And the collar, oh, it's got such deep grease stains on it. But this fragrance is nice. It doesn't smell bad at all. This is what some classmates in Hong Kong told me. Yeah. So what fragrance is that? We usually talk about the fragrance of the 5 precepts. The fragrance of the Dharma arises from the precepts, concentration and wisdom leading to liberation, and the precepts of liberation. If we look at it from this angle, it makes even more sense. It's all about sincerity and purity and compassion too. You can see the expression of inherent virtue. It's everywhere, isn't it? Not just the body, but also letting go of the light, along with the environment they live in. Let it go. These days, people usually talk about different energy fields. The environment he lives in. Once we step in, you really feel very comfortable. It feels really comfortable. That's because his living environment has light. Yeah. Although we cannot see its light waves with our naked eyes, but we can definitely feel it. So this part is about responding to the teachings. Note what you see here. As for the parameter of TA with macron, NA with macron, it's one of the 6 perfections. It's the parameter of generosity, the parameter of discipline, the parameter of patience, the parameter of effort, the parameter of meditation, and the parameter of wisdom. Let's start with these 6 phrases. They talk about the 6 perfections. The first one, TA with macron, NA with macron, is a Sanskrit term. Translate it into Chinese meaning. No, that's not it. All Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, to be honest, it's about what happens. What does it mean to happen? Pure emptiness transforms the Dharma realm. Divine being is oneself. They definitely affirm that this divine being is absolutely not a person. This God is myself. Pure emptiness transforming the Dharma realm is oneself. So he truly has infinite life. Like emptiness, it's unclear where it all begins. In this life, we have life just like the cells in our bodies that undergo metabolism. There is life. But this body needs to last for several decades. The lifespan of cells is quite short. Now, modern medicine tells me the human body has a life cycle. All the cells, they go through metabolism just once. So the old cells from 7 years ago are gone. All the cells, they go through metabolism just once. So the old cells from 7 years ago are gone. Now this cell is newly born, always undergoing metabolism. Youth is a cycle. So why don't we just replace the old with the new? Something better? Something completely new. It's like a machine, right? If a part breaks, you can find another similar part to replace it, and it'll work. But the old one isn't new anymore. Why not just choose a completely new part to put in? Then your body will be forever healthy and live long. Hey, when you're 100 years old and your body still feels like a young person, why is that? It's because your cells are undergoing new metabolism. Close and unpolluted. But what we suffer from is always the replacement with polluted cells. How is it accidental? Your delusions and attachments have polluted you. What gets replaced is really terrible, eh?
Look at the kids.
Kids are the same. A 7-year-old, a 14-year-old, they've gone through these 2 cycles. Hey, why are they still doing so well? Fewer delusions. Oh dear, fewer delusions. say something unpleasant. Fewer thoughts that harm others and yourself, A. So the cells that get replaced still have that same heart. As you get older, those thoughts that harm others and yourself become more frequent and stronger. It just gets worse and worse. As you get older, the thoughts that harm others and yourself become more frequent and stronger. The more you suffer, the worse it gets. That's just how it is. Let's take a look at the world of Buddha. Whether it's the Western Pure Land or the Avatamsaka world, why is it that their system never changes? It seems like it just stops in that place, but in reality, does it really stop? Isn't it still constantly changing? It's just that in his metabolism, there are completely no delusions or distinctions. So what this means is that the parts being replaced are completely new. Always new. This machine has been replaced 10 times, 20 times, and it still works. That's the principle of the way, isn't it? Today we've caught a glimpse of how we harm ourselves, A. So being selfish and self-serving isn't really self-benefiting, it's actually self-harming, A. You've got the terminology all wrong. So that's being self-reliant. Self-harming, A. Being altruistic is actually self-reliance. Who knows about being altruistic? The Buddhas know about being altruistic. The enlightened ones know him. Confused and deluded people only know about being self-reliant, but that's actually self-harming, A. No, it's not really self-reliance if you're just talking about benefits. Don't talk about anything else. Just look at your own physical condition and you'll realize you're harming yourself, A. Why can't the cells in this metabolism be replaced with completely new, healthy ones? You've got to understand that greed, anger, ignorance, and arrogance are the most serious viruses. Do you have greed, anger, and ignorance in your heart? The cells that are being replaced are all infected with viruses. They are all carrying serious viruses. Where's the benefit in that? Even though a child's greed, anger, ignorance, and arrogance are quite weak. Not strong, A. The toxins carried by the cells that are replaced during metabolism are quite mild. But adults carry a much heavier virus, A. If we don't delve deep into the teachings and don't understand a bit of the principles, how are we ever going to know the true facts of this reality? Scientists still haven't figured it out to this day. I haven't figured it out. So at the very beginning, let's put the 6 perfections up front. All the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. The only thing that matters is all sentient beings, teaching the Dharma, guiding beings, and cultivating to achieve the right results. It all comes down to these 6 principles. In generosity, there's the giving of wealth, the giving of teachings, and the giving of the 5 dimensions. The World-Honored One teaches the Dharma to all sentient beings, encompassing all 3 types of giving. Teaching the Dharma isn't just about talent, you know. That's the inner wealth. It's about the wisdom and strength, A. This is the giving of inner wealth. The theories and methods being talked about are lacking. That's the giving of the Dharma. Sentient beings, they get this law. Got it, understand this teaching. Ability, all the advantages come with suffering. You know the path to breaking free from the cycle of rebirth. This is giving without hesitation. The three types of actions done by the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are all, you know. In itself, to uphold the precepts directly is to follow the Dharma. His life has its rules. He speaks the Dharma in a structured and led way. Nothing is out of line, following the Dharma means keeping precepts. Patience, that's about having endurance. Monks uphold the Dharma, but all sentient beings go against it. Talking about Bodhisattvas, today we're discussing natural disasters. Didn't think much of it. Today we're talking about these natural disasters. You can also endure. Studying the Buddha's teachings takes a long time. In the end, the Avatamsaka Sutra gives us the story of the Bodhisattva sadhanas, 53 visits. Visiting those places is pretty tough, Not a single one. Can't do it. In other words, he has a lot of patience, so he achieves great things. The old and the new, what's real and tangible, is completely proportional to what's in your heart. The more patience you have, the greater your achievements will be. If you lack patience, then your progress will come to a halt. So, only after enduring humiliation can you truly strive for progress, Putting on the robe is about diligence. Progress is advancing. Essence is pure. This gold. Absolutely right. The delusions and attachments we cling to are becoming fewer and fewer, This is gold. Wisdom and virtue. This is gold. Wisdom and virtue. The more you understand, the more you grow. That's progress, You've definitely got to have a sense of control in your heart. Not swayed by anything. Students who are learning about Buddhism now. We have the Dharma. It's really not easy to come by, Supreme path, West opposed to being sunk meet good teachers. In stark contrast to being completely sunk. We encounter good teachers. Now I get it, Only then do you understand. If you don't encounter true goodness, when this path is right in front of you, you won't recognize its value. to miss it right in front of you. How unfortunate is that? Among all the paths, this one is incredibly special. It's incredibly unique. Is it the Pure Land path? How many people really know? How many people really get it? How can one truly understand it thoroughly? Only when you truly understand can your faith really rise up. All of the perfections, none can save sentient beings. The end of the Dharma age still has 9,000 years left. What method can help these suffering beings? Only the Buddha recitation path. The Buddha recitation path relies on the Infinite Life Sutra. The Infinite Life Sutra has been translated a total of 12 times in China. The 12 original texts of traditional Chinese medicine. The Buddha spoke about this many times during his lifetime. So this original text is the basis. There are many different versions. We need to look at many versions together. Only then can we truly understand the Western Pure Land. Only then can we strengthen our resolve. It's really important. But it's not easy to look at all these translated texts together. It's not easy in this day and age either, not to mention the story afterwards. So it's necessary to gather them together. This is the first time meeting layman Wayne Longshu. On top of that, his accounting book is included in the Tripitaka. China needs to know. Stop and think, the word needs to be worthy of being included in the scriptures. That's what you get. The 4 groups of disciples in Buddhism. I acknowledge that. It's definitely agreed upon. There's no mistake about it. Only then can it be included in the scriptures. Not just any random work can be included in the scriptures. It's about receiving the teachings from the great monks of that time. I recommend it. It has to be presented to the emperor for approval before it can be recorded. It proves that this thing is correct. Master Li Yankai, the ancestor of the Pure Land, wishing you success. The scriptures from the Infinite Life Sutra quoted in the Su Chao of the clay pottery. 2/3. It's used. The Great Amitabha Sutra by the layman Longshu. It's accounting book of the Infinite Life Sutra. This shows that Master Li Yankai acknowledges and affirms. But it's true that Bodhisattva Nagarjuna himself chanted the Buddha's name and stood to attain rebirth. If it's a gathering, it shouldn't have any faults. How can it lead to conflict? This shows that his merits are boundless and immeasurable. But the compilation by layman Nongguo only looked at 4 essential texts. During the Tang dynasty, Nagarjuna missed the Infinite Life Sutra, so his records are incomplete. This is noticed. So his accounting book isn't complete, you know. A few people have noticed this issue. In the early Qing dynasty, Peng Jiqing made a precept and teaching book. He's not an accountant. During the Xianfeng era, an unlabeled version of the membership was created. The choices made are quite inappropriate. Yingguan critiqued it in early Republic. So, this brings us to the early years of the Republic of China. Layman Xia Lianju created the most complete accounting book. Xia is no ordinary person. Elder Xia is no ordinary person, you know. I heard from his photo. His body looks transparent. He's not an ordinary person, but a person of calamity. He's coming back. Tell me, this isn't an ordinary person, but a person of calamity. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are coming back. Here to help the beings at the end of the Dharma age. In the future, this Jingzong scripture, when the Buddha's teachings have completely faded away, the Infinite Life Sutra will still be commented on for another 100 years. This one. At that time, Master Huiman, Master Sisu from the Vinaya school, Elder Mai Guangzi, and these great virtuous ones are almost certain that in the end, this compiled version will still be passed down for another 100 years. This membership book is: gather the teachings of the Infinite Life Sutra, and it will lead to great accomplishment. If you don't believe, you can take out the 5 original texts and compare them. Stop slandering already. Stop the discrimination already. The karma from our actions is boundless and infinite. If you want to say it's the lower line, really, it's a layperson who doesn't have the ability to compile it. So, if you're a monk, can you compile it? Wang Long, the book is by a layperson. Wei Moshing is also a layperson. The work of accounting has been done at home from the Song dynasty all the way to the Republic of China. Master Yang Kai is the founding monk. Definitely acknowledged him, accepted him. It's all. What about the first level of prejudice? It's such a pity. We're now in Singapore. This membership book of the Infinite Life Sutra is what Master Xia refers to as the accounting book. We've talked in detail about our intentions in a previous discussion. This weight, it needs to exceed. It's many times more than what was discussed in previous years. The principles of things in Jinzhong, we need to thoroughly understand cause and effect. You don't have a master in your heart, do you? Look, how many years have you been chanting the Buddha's name? I met someone who said, just saying some flowery words. I heard that. There's no need to chant so many Buddhas, right? You don't have to keep precepts, and you don't need to be vegetarian either. As long as you make a vow to be reborn, that's all that matters, right? Promoting this original intention of chanting the Buddha's name. It's deadly, mate. They follow. Amitabha's vow, rebirth at death, aids quitting. Death, if 1 year or 10 years, be reborn. You can do bad things, but when it comes to death, whether it's 10 years, Amitabha will help you quit smoking. What you're saying is spot on. When it comes to the time of death, is your mind clear? If at the time of death you, all muddled up with worldly matters, high monks and virtuous people come to help you chant, you still won't be able to be reborn. These days, people don't have concentration skills. Listen to a bit, but don't take advice, eh? Not taking it seriously, are you? The Surangama Sutra says it well, doesn't it? In our current era, it's like the sands of the Ganges. Don't just look at the monks from outside who can chant scriptures. You're wrong about Qing superstitions and outsiders. Hope those chanting Buddha reflect. You're completely off the mark. I hope those who chant the Buddha's name will take a moment to reflect. According to Master Yin Guang, the teachings are profound. The transmission of virtuous learning, body and mind, cause and effect. The teacher chants the Buddha's name. In this life, we can only attain liberation, right? So, this meditation is about having control in your heart. Don't listen to rumors. Keeping precepts and chanting the Buddha's name is definitely the right thing to do. Not taking the lives of sentient beings shows compassion. Just have a look at the example in front of you. Shooting towards the light, the clouds are greater than great.